against my enemies, yeah. You see, you wanted to save you, and then learn how to raise you. But I forget you're from the wilderness.
Hello everyone, what is up? I am Rob.
I'm Eamon.
Damn, it is Mini Fuzz. How are you doing, Eamon?
Very well. How are you doing?
Good, yeah, pretty good now.
Are you getting in the Christmas spirit? Will you be getting a tree soon?
Yeah, the weekend, right? This weekend is.
I think we're going to do it the weekend after, but this is the weekend to do it.
Yeah. I think we're putting up the tree. We'll have to put up a tree here to celebrate.
A little baby tree.
Yeah, I'll put up a little small tree there. I think if I can find one.
Get those nice little like branch tree ones in a sack of dirt, and you can put a few old lights on it.
I'm getting into the spirit because my bank account is empty, so that's kind of how you know you're getting into the spirit. You're like, oh yes, I've spent all my money.
You're starting to worry about the presents. I got one because I got two presents so far.
Right.
One is a present. It's only a little present for you, but I saw it and I said, Rob,
I have to
like
get you something too. Yeah.
We'll have a talk after. We might set an old cap on it.
Maybe, yeah.
Because sometimes you go, that time you got me the Resident Evil stuff, I was like, this is too much.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Well, I'm cool, dude. Like,
you're very cool, but who knows what I got you? Who knows what I'll get you? Madness.
Yeah, hope everyone's doing well. Hope you're having a good day wherever you may be. We've got a jam-packed mini fuzz today, loads of different little bits. It's a very much an assortment, a smorgasbord, and a box of roses actually. Stories.
Quality stories.
It is, yeah. But before we get into it, we'd like to remind everyone that Patreon is what keeps this podcast going. Head on over and support us. You can gift Patreon subscriptions now also, which is quite cool. Finally, they've done that. So head on over.
Christmas present.
Yeah, good Christmas present. Head on over, check it out. You'll get an exclusive episode. We actually have to record one soon. And you have access to the Discord, ad-free, all that jazz, the usual stuff. But most importantly, it's supporting the podcast. There you go. That's the crack. Eamon, if they have any spooky stories, where to send them?
If you have spooky stories like our friend and yours, Tony Bolognese, send them to monsterfuzzpodcast@gmail.com. And as we are about to, we will read them out on a mini fuzz.
Yeah, indeed, yeah. It's always good to hear from the Bolognese.
It is.
Big shouts out to our new patron, Snowy Sand.
Snow in summer.
Beaches in the snow not as cool, maybe they lose a bit of their coolness, or are they cooler?
I don't know, man. Beaches in Iceland are fairly
true.
Cool. They have it's like a Viking coastal kind of a.
Do you see the Blue Lagoon now is lava?
Okay.
No, the Blue Lagoon, like the
man-made one, is it?
Lava all over the car park.
Matter time.
Matter
time, man. That's what happens.
It must be mad though, right? Because like for people that don't know, in Iceland, like one of the main tourist attractions is the Blue Lagoon. Man-made hot spring. It was really cool though. Like it's I don't know. It's like 10 quid or something. You get a drink and you can kind of saunter around and get a bit of a mud bath and all that kind of mud face mask and all that. It's worth doing. Like it is very touristy, but like it must be mad. Like that's one of their biggest tourist attractions. Yeah, and it's just about to get buried in lava.
You just have to make it.
Like again. Imagine that. Like what would be the equivalent here? Would be like Temple Bar gets covered in lava, or the Cliffs of Moher falls into the ocean. Do you know what I mean?
That one, yeah. Like and there's just no Moher. There's no Moher.
It's just a beach.
The whole cliff, and it just forms a nice gradient down to the coast.
Well, that is crazy.
Well, you could argue that Temple Bar is falling into the water.
Well, hopefully, in a lot of ways. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Temple Bar, yeah.
Temple Bar.
I could do with Temple Bar taking a dive. It's weird when you walk around Temple Bar and you see people doing the touristy thing, you know? Yeah,
like, and don't get me wrong, if you're not Irish, I get it. Like, you go there, they're playing the Heidelberg music, the pints are like 11 quid. Like, you know, and it's fun, it's vibrant. But then at certain times you go into the city and you just go, oh, wow, this is a violent cesspit.
Yeah, no, it's a strange
Welcome
one.
to Dublin, the violent cesspit of Ireland.
That's what it's known as. We've got another big announcement actually. Spotify Wrapped is coming up. So if you have us in your Wrapped, be sure to tag us on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. We always love seeing the Spotify Wrapped every year, seeing what everyone's listening to. We also it's quite interesting to see like what people who listen to us also listen to. It's just cool to get the top 5 rundown.
It's funny even just to see what you were listening to yourself.
Yeah.
Because you might, like, what I'm a devil for is I'll go through like say February, I'll get into a band and I'll just only listen to them for a month, and then I forget about them until the end of the year. But actually, I've listened to more of their stuff than anyone else. So
I'm a binge listener. Like if I find something, it's like feast or famine. I'm like, I'm into that.
Do you have a lot of stuff where you just burn yourself? Like I can't listen to 13th Step by Perfect Circle because I'm totally burned out on it.
Yeah, sometimes.
Great album, but just
sometimes I'll just like it hasn't happened as much lately. I find like I'm getting reignited with new stuff every and at a decent pace now with Spotify. It's quite good for like introducing you to new stuff. But the last couple of months I've had like fairly solid different artists that I'll find and I'm like, oh yeah, cool, and check them out and stuff. So this year it'll be probably Kendrick will dominate it. Magdalena Bay will be up there. There'll be a couple of other bits. We'll share our rap. It's real good,
I only listened to a bit of it. I actually listened and I didn't listen to it properly again. I listened to the Linkin Park new album, which seems very Linkin Park. So it's hard to really hate, you know?
No, I've listened to it a couple of times through now. Still haven't fully digested it, but it's really good. So it's real solid. Solid songs on there. So Em and Tony Balnez writes in if you want to take it away.
Tony Baloney, she says, yo boys, your talk about having the same dream at the same time as someone made me remember some strangeness from a couple of years back. It was long enough ago that I don't even remember all the details of the dream, but here it goes. In the dream, I was on the side of a steep canyon with some unknown persons, and we were watching as a pack of wolves ran across the other side of the canyon. This is not unusual here. Wolves are everywhere.
Yeah, so Balnez lives, I think, Pacific Northwest. Yeah.
Yeah, and she was one of the people, and we were going like, why do you have guns in America? And she was like, because a cougar might kill you. And we were like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Pretty soon I noticed there is someone following these wolves, and I realize it's my brother. One of the unknowns that I am with raises a rifle to shoot at the wolves, and I start to yell at him not to, that he could miss and hit my brother, but he won't listen, and I start yelling across the canyon, but we are too far away for my brother to hear me. The asshole shoots and hits my brother. I wake up in complete hysterics, sweating, shaking, the whole bit. So that's like almost a classic anxiety dream, isn't it? Just that you're not able to control a terrifying situation. Yeah,
mine, I thought it was going to go this way, but mine was always that I was lying down on the edge of a cliff and I was getting pulled over, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, and you'd look over and you're like, oh, and then eventually you just fall.
Yeah, I've had a few of them where you're trying to run and like you can't run fast.
Right.
You're like stuck. It's like you're in a stasis or molasses or something. But the weirdest one for me was when terrible anxiety dream in the back of a car. I probably said it on the podcast, but it was years ago. In the back of the car, someone's driving. I can't see them. We just stop the car as Michael Myers starts coming out of it after from Halloween.
Right,
and it's like an old car that has the push down locks. All of those pop up and I'm desperately trying to put down the lock. Michael Myers getting closer and closer and I'm like, fucking drive the car. And then you wake up and you're, you thought you were sweating, but you've actually pissed the bed. So anyway, sorry for the digression, Tony. Fast forward a couple of days, my brother and I are hanging out. I have trippy dreams all the time, so I rarely talk about them. But my brother starts telling me he had this crazy dream the other night that he got shot. Curious, I ask him to elaborate. He tells me in detail the same exact story from my dream, which is weird enough on its own. But the bizarre part isn't that we had the same dream, but two different perspectives on the same story. Him seeing it go down from his own point of view on one side of the canyon, while I see it from my perspective looking across at him. Spooked the hell out of me for a while. Thought maybe it was a premonition. My brother is the type of crazy bastard that would try to chase down a wolf pack, so not too far out of the realm of possibilities. Anyways, as usual, I love you guys. Keep being awesome. Sketty Bolognese.
Yeah. Had a dream. You were in a dream of mine actually the other night. We were out. You and I were going out to the Salty Island. And it was a real nice day. And I can't remember why we were out there. I don't know whether we were hiking or camping or something. But I lost you somehow. But there was a lot of people. It was like a commune out on the island. Okay. And I was like I was going around trying to figure out, I was like, what's the story here? And chatting to people and stuff. But I woke up then. So it was quite boring.
Yeah, but it was probably in the shed like midsummer.
Yeah. But it was a strange dream. There was a bunch of like kind of like Norwegian dudes working, like environmentalists out there, like and stuff, and it was strange.
I had a weird dream last night that it's like a dream where it wasn't Paula, but it was a girl that I was with.
Oh yeah.
And she was kissing another guy, and I was like, don't really like that.
Right.
And I was driving a car, and I just opened the door and rolled out in the dream. I was like, fuck this. And then she came running out, being like, oh, sorry and all. But I was like unfazed by just falling out of the car. And I was just like, nah, go away from me and all.
All right.
And then I just woke up and I was like,
class.
All right, what have I been eating?
Oh, that's hilarious.
It was funny, yeah. Funny.
No, the ones that are going on at the same time, dreams like that, that's just nuts.
I'd say
siblings dreaming the same thing, nuts.
Well, especially with siblings as well, you know. But the more, like, I'm going into a bit of a binge on UAP stuff at the minute.
Yep.
I'm getting hooked in. Obviously, we were looking at those pictures earlier. I'm fretting and excited at the same time. The one that's the REM cover for Automatic for the People
basically
terrifies me.
Yeah, I sent them, and so there was a couple of like quote unquote leaks. Now the authenticity of leaks has been disputed.
Yes.
But
they look a lot like some of the other verified pictures.
Yeah, basically there were just pictures of UAPs, alleged pictures of UAPs, but there's actually some really interesting ones that weren't like your average, this is a flying saucer. Like, like you said, Automatic for the People cover, but it was kind of like
it's a ball of spikes, basically.
Yeah, basically like a ball of spikes, like a morning star or like an urchin or something.
Like an urchin, yeah. So
like that's a really alien looking spaceship.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in like Evangelion, Shinji fights something that looks exactly like that. In that show, they're called aliens, and they come, or not aliens, excuse me, they're called angels.
Right.
And then that was all just going on in the back of my head, like because there's a lot of people talking religious about these entities.
Yeah.
The what is it? The NHI?
What's that?
Non-human NHE, non-human entities or something. It's or NHI, non-human
NHS.
Yeah. If you have a cold, they'll sort you out.
I don't know. I think everywhere is getting a bit more religious at the minute, right? I think that's going to happen with the conservative swing that we're experiencing. I think religion is making a now comeback.
In our sort of end stage capitalism, with aliens descending from the skies, I think everyone's just fed up. There's 2 wars. Nothing seems stable. You can't afford anything. People talking about Black Friday getting €100 off TV. How about lowering the price of groceries? I'd be delighted with that. I think everyone is in such an unstable atmosphere at the moment that religion is a kind of, it's just like, just constant. Have faith in me, just believe in me, and I'll look after you.
Which one are you going to go with? Which one are you going
Religions?
To pick? Yeah, which one are you going to pick?
It's a good question.
I think Muslim. That's why I'm going anyway.
You're going to go, you'd be radicalised, would
you?
I'm
betting on the boys.
You'd be like one of the boys going around there beheading, doing the turkey gobble.
Alhamdulillah, brother.
Fucking, M16s pointed to the sky doing the gobble.
It's good opportunities if you're a Muslim, like, you know what I mean?
If you're a male.
Yeah.
I wonder, white male Muslims.
Yeah, good crack.
Just like... Does racism exist within the Muslim community? You just go to the top of the Muslim.
True, true. May look into that.
I don't know. Yeah, like...
You'd be like an old... Well, you're probably into Buddhism or something, or Shinto or something, would you be?
Yeah, well, I probably am mostly into Buddhism. That way of... But then again, even the Buddhists, like the myth of the Buddha is fucking nuts as well. Like all these myths, like... I don't even want to say his name.
No. Yeah, don't.
The prophet. You know yourself. You know who I'm talking about.
We don't want that smoke.
But like we don't need that. Like we'll talk shit about all the religions except the ones that will behead us and murder our families. We'll talk about the rest of them. You got to know where the line is.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the mythology of all these things. Jesus as well. It's like virgin can't get an in for the night. Winds up having a miraculous, immaculate conception, gives birth.
See, I'm like, I don't know whether there's an offshoot of Christianity that's like, you know, all the, like, this is funny saying this, like, but all the woo stuff of Christianity, we don't believe that, but we actually believe that Jesus Christ historically existed and we like what he said.
I'd say there probably is some sort of a thing that doesn't take the book literally.
That's me right now. Like, I think that he was cool dude. That was around.
Cool dude.
But if I did meet up with Brother Richard a couple more times, I'll probably be, drinking the Kool-Aid, like.
Yeah, well, I
or eating the holy.
The more I'm hanging out with Brother Richard, the more I'm like, it's the Old Testament. Well, if you think about it, the Old Testament God that's almost like, I don't want to say a radical God, but he's fairly fucking fire and brimstone and iron and authoritarian kind of kill your son. Nah, you're grand, don't worry about it. I just wanted to see if you would kill him. That's histrionic behavior.
I don't know. Yeah, I think like because even like the historical angle, when you get into the historical angle of Jesus, you're like, oh, that's interesting. Like, because he was basically a revolutionary, really. If you were to just look at him on like, this is a historical person. Like, he was basically a revolutionary. Well,
he was like effectively born Jewish, and he created
his own thing.
But then the whole thing is like, he is his dad, and the Holy Ghost and the Trinity and all that sort of stuff. So the parts that I don't fully get, and I'm sure again Brother Richard would be able to give us a really good overview of why this is. But I don't understand. I understand the Old Testament is the Old Testament, but why is it that God's like, all these people, I've been sending floods, I've been doing Sodom and Gomorrah, I've been turning lads into pillars of salt. Actually, I'm going to send myself in the form of Jesus Christ to be murdered, to be killed, so that we can save everybody. Like, I don't know what it was. He just wake up one day and he's like, I've been a bit of a twat.
Yeah.
But it is, I think that's the part I struggle with. But again, I struggle with that with a very surface level understanding of these ancient texts.
Yeah, same.
And I find every time we talk to Brother Richard, you kind of go,
well, the main ingredient that we're missing is faith, which ironically is exactly what you need.
Yeah, that's actually that's the exact little bit of MSG to just get that taste right.
We're like 75% there, but you need that. That 25% is crucial.
Do you know what the worst part of it is? Like, and it really frustrates me.
That's your 40% to get a pass.
But I can't. Like, I try. I would love to.
But you have to. He's there for you, brother.
Yeah, but I can't.
He's waiting
because there's a part of my brain that just like pulls back, goes, good, amen, but how can you be sure? It's like if do you know that stuff you try to visualize, like manifest destiny? I'll do stuff like that where I'll be like, I've tried to do stuff and my brain just throws curveballs at me. It's like, oh, there's a car. Oh, that's gonna hit you. Oh, what about this? There's a dragon. Now your pants are gone. Like, it just comes out.
No, I
can't, like, I'm too addled to do it.
I get you. I'm with you. Tell you who weren't addled, the Aztecs.
They weren't.
The Aztec death whistles used to prepare sacrifice victims to descend into the underworld and scramble your brain, these scans reveal. So if people don't know what an Aztec death whistle is, it's basically like, if you've seen Jurassic Park 3, it's like the Velociraptor chamber that Dr. Alan Grant uses to make raptor noises to tame them when they try and get
farts that sound like the raptors.
Yeah, so it's basically a little kind of small porcelain ceramic kind of thing, but the noise out of it is mental. When you blow into it, it's like almost a wind instrument, basically.
Yeah, but it makes it really like...
Yeah,
like a horrible kind of...
There's a really funny clip on the Fighter and the Kids subreddit where...
Is that where Brian Callen...
After Brian Cannon blows into the death whistle, he ruins his own career. And it shows him blowing into the death whistle. And then all them R-word allegations stuff started flying up at the screen and stuff. But yeah, so ritual Aztec whistles produced a brain-scrambling scream, according to a new study. So these objects were used during human sacrifices and may have prepared victims for their supposed descent into Mictlan, the Aztec underworld. The Aztecs created the small 1.2 to 2 inch long skull-shaped whistles out of clay, possibly to represent Mictlan, the Aztec lord of the underworld, of course. The skull whistles trigger a medium level of urgency response in listeners. There you go. It's basically a panic attack.
Not super urgent, but it's like
medium
relatively urgent.
And many listeners said the sound was akin to a scream. Study lead author Sasha Fruholz, they're throwing curveballs at me today, a neuroscientist at the University of Zurich, said in a statement, archaeologists have recovered the whistles from the graves of people they assumed were sacrificial victims. The whistles have a very unique construction, and we don't know of any comparable musical instrument from other pre-Columbian cultures, Fruholz says. Did you actually are you up on how's your Amazonian lore doing these days? So
I know no more than I have.
So like basically all of the old idea of the Amazon is just wrong. So like we used to have like the idea of the Amazon was basically like it was always too dense, it was always too wild. Humanity always kind of skirted the outside or the rivers, you know, like they did live in along the rivers and stuff. But
patches, yeah.
There was never big civilizations there, never advanced civilizations. So after finding fucking massive civilizations in there, evidence of like and this is not Graham Hancock shit, this is real shit.
That's what I was just about to ask. This is not Graham Hancock shit, this is real shit. That should be what this episode is called.
But yeah, so I think actually Graham Hancock is piggybacking off this stuff.
Okay.
And he's like, well, they had computers. They found VTex.
Used to text each other. There were SMS messages, and if you ran out of credit, you could no longer text.
They had GeoCities. So they found... within these cities, they found evidence of like aquifers, canal systems. They found roadways, pathways.
Would that have been in line with other sort of not ancient cultures, but other cultures of the time?
There would have been an advanced.
There
would have been like another. So like let's say
another Rome, if you like, an aqueduct.
Right. Was it like their tech? Very similar.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
But yeah, also not only is it very similar, but there would have been existing in tandem probably with the likes of the Aztecs and all them. Their civilization would have been as impressive. They had pyramids and stuff. So the whole thing was that a lot of people said the reason for them never doing it was because the soil, I didn't know this, but it's kind of weird, but apparently the soil in the Amazon is not very fertile.
Okay.
Which you wouldn't think.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that.
But like it's really bad for grazing, which ironically they're bulldozing the whole thing for grazing.
Yeah.
But what the reason that they found a lot of this evidence of old cultures is there's a way that you can sort of infuse the soil with minerals and stuff, and basically you make charcoal and you mix the charcoal in with the soil and you cover it and all this shit, and basically you're regenerating the soil.
Yeah.
So agricultural based civilizations started to do that in the Amazon, and that's how they're finding proof of them now. They're finding it in the soil, this like black soil, and they had like a name for it, but like it was a way that they were able to finally use agriculture.
And does this seem like that kind of, I think it's what the 100 monkey theory, which is like there's a certain, say monkeys are trying to learn to use a tool, and by the 100th I think is just a sort of to say a number arbitrarily, but when they find out that sort of an animal learns a new skill here across the ocean, it seems to coincide. So what I mean is that the culture, the Aztec and the kind of indigenous Brazilian cultures, Amazonian cultures rather, would have had like a similar thing going on at the same time.
Maybe.
And now it's funny because we're just to link that in with the last story about people having shared dreams. Is there some sort of a binding thing? Yeah, like with all this stuff with quantum physics and stuff that kind of lends itself to some spooky thought like this. Yeah.
Well, I didn't realize either, but like stuff from the Sahara blows to the Amazon. And that's why the Amazon is the way it is. Like, I didn't realize that. So like...
Okay, so like just...
Yeah, the wind carries
with sand and stuff. Wow, interesting.
It's crazy. But anyway, so long story short, the Amazon is lit nowadays, folks. There's probably podcasts that talk about it that aren't about monsters. But long story short, the Amazon, the reason no one was able to find these civilizations was because when these civilizations died out, and they don't really know why yet, they just overgrew so quickly. So all the plants, the Amazon just took it back so quick.
Whereas in the Aztecs, you have these structures that they couldn't. I get you.
But like, no, they had those structures too. But
no, but that's what I mean. Like in Egypt, it's not the massive fast growth of the jungle isn't going to take over from your pyramids and stuff.
Yeah, but like the Aztecs, they found evidence of. But the reason they found evidence of them was because they were still around when we got to the Americas.
They actually invaded them.
The Amazonian ones, they don't really know how they died out or what went down with them. But they
don't be saying we either. That was the Spanish.
That was
nothing to do with that.
Yeah, well,
we're not European like those.
We're white though, so we have to carry the guilt.
We're not white like other white people. We're Irish.
I know, but we have to carry the guilt, brother. It's just part of it. Yeah. So we're back to the whistle and its urgency and panic. In the study published on November 11th in the Journal of Communication Psychology, they recruited 70 people to listen to more than 2,500 sound samples made by these whistles. 3 of these whistles they used were modern reproductions, and the 2 others were actually original whistles from the Aztec site of Tlatelolco. My tongue is not made for Aztec words. Near the Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan, in what is now Mexico City. I know Tenochtitlan though, but that's... the whistle all made a shrill, piercing and scream-like sound quality when played with intensive air pressure, the team wrote. So they were using scans or recordings of listeners' brains to identify what regions actually responded to sounds. And they discovered that it lit up brain regions associated with emotional responses and with identifying symbolic meaning. Aztec communities may therefore have used the scary sounds in specific ritual contexts, such as ceremonies involving death.
It is funny. It's like, it sounds unsettling because it sounds like someone screaming, which makes you feel fearful. And they're like, yeah, sure, they knew that. Yeah, of course they did. That's very
well, they were killing motherfuckers every day. So
heads were rolling down the steps.
Yeah, so basically what they drew from was that they may have been used to scare humans. Used to scare the human sacrifice or the ceremonial audience, the researchers wrote. However, there are limitations to the study, and unfortunately we could not perform our psychological and neuroscientific experiments with humans from ancient Aztec cultures, obviously. Also, like, I wonder, this is just an idea, but I suppose it shows you how broad the interpretation of what these were could be. Like, I wonder, were they at one point just like, we'll use these to like trick the gods rather than sacrifice someone? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, possibly, because any idea
like
you
every
had
now
back
and then
could be sort of argued for if you had enough clout.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Like ask Thursday tonight, lads, we won't sacrifice someone, we'll just use the death whistle.
It is funny as well though, because we talk about, like, say the archons and all the kind of crazy interdimensional demons and all that sort of stuff. Their whole thing is to try to make you afraid because, like, It the Clown or Pennywise, I always call him It the Clown. You know, it's scarier when he puts the fear in you. You taste better. So I wonder with the Aztecs if there's cannibalism and there's some sort of weird. There's something in, like you said, the collective consciousness about fear and eating stuff. And I guess it's down to predation. If you're a predator, you will generally scare the thing you're trying to eat just through the act of trying to consume it. And so then is there something within us that associates fear with taste, if that makes sense?
Could be, yeah, because for whatever reason, like, they were making them to do something. There was a purpose to it. So, and
they might have just been enjoying the fact that it scared the shit out of people.
That could be it.
You know,
could be that simple.
It could be that simple.
It could be that simple. So, Eamon, I found a little article there. A woman lost in forest for 11 days claims she was saved by God's messenger.
That's pretty good.
Allah, obviously.
Yeah, of course. Prophet. Galina Ivanova was stranded in the forest alone for 11 days but managed to survive mostly unscathed. There was a huge reason behind her determination to survive, and she said it was due to a messenger from God. The woman from the Irkutsk village of Alexeyevsk in Siberia left hospital this week after her terrifying ordeal. Her rescue started with a mythical dog which appeared and then vanished into thin air. She works in the forest and thought she knew it fairly well, until one night she went foraging and couldn't find her way back to camp. Galina has poor eyesight, and with the knowledge of wild animals such as bears lurking in the forest, she felt scared for her life. The base was located in the snow forest referred to as Taiga.
It's Taiga, I think that's a Taiga.
Taiga, is it?
Yeah, I'm fairly sure it's Taiga.
Taiga, yeah.
I might be wrong though.
Taiga, Chaga, whatever you want.
Taiga.
I'm not sure.
I think these bastards that wrote this article don't know what they're talking about.
No. Well, whatever it is, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Like it was for this lady.
Yeah.
When she didn't return to her base, friends and family raised concerns, which led to a search party being released and sent to search the forest. She was nowhere to be found, and with a deadly cyclone hitting, Jesus, this is a bad old state of affairs. Bears, cyclones, bottles, orange, the lot.
Mythical dogs.
Sure, Jesus, how could you be well?
No.
So the search parties were faced with the harsh rain and snow as well. Galena spoke about her experience and admitted she lived on nothing but fresh air, as there was no nutritional items surrounding her. When it snowed, I collected it, swallowed it, and it became a little easier. I also collected rainwater in my palms, she revealed. Jesus, fair play to her. While she was faced with strong winds and rain, Galena admitted she used to climb trees to get protection from the elements. Adding to this, the sun shined on her, which kept her somewhat warm. However, her lighter stopped working due to the dampness of her clothes. Members of the search party also heard the dog and followed the noise to discover Galena, who was near to her original base. The searchers later admitted they didn't see a dog, but there was barking sounds that led them to her. She became some kind of messenger of God, as I was later told, my guardian angel. In that part of the forest, there are hunting huts. It is quite possible that it was one of the hunting huts. They are very smart, with a good sense of smell, and they navigate the taiga very well. The dog simply fulfilled its mission and left, Galena confirmed.
What you reckon, dog or Jesus dog?
If I was choosing, I'd prefer it to be mythical Jesus dog.
I think it was mythical Jesus dog.
Okami.
Yeah, actually.
Some cool like that, brush strokes in the sky. But mythical Christian or, non-denominational spirit dog or whatever, to survive for 11 days with no food and be surviving off clumps of snow and water, that rainwater, that's incredible.
Yeah. You can do like 2 weeks off water.
No, I think water you can only do like 3 days.
Oh, no. 2 weeks.
Food, I don't think so.
Oh, you can, yeah. I
think you die of thirst in 3 days.
No, on water. If you just have water, you can live for 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah, you could live for longer, depending on how much fat you have. So basically, if you think of your body like a calorie count, if you're quite heavy set, you will have, and you say burn 2,000 calories a day, but your belly has like 80,000, you could effectively not eat. Now, you'll be fatigued and it won't be nice, but your body's wired to live off those reserves. So I suppose most people, regardless of how fit or skinny or whatever you are, probably could live, to your point, for a couple of weeks with just water.
Just water, yeah. Just going off the snow. Fair play to her.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Jesus dog.
And imagine just the fucking boredom as well. Imagine just being stuck in a forest for 11 days, no Steam Deck.
Yeah, dirt. If you had your Steam Deck, you'd probably just want to stay out there.
You wouldn't even have a bottle of Volvic. You just have clumps of snow. Yeah, if you'd probably die of starvation just playing your Steam Deck.
It'd be like fucking, is it Jack Nicholson in The Shining, just frozen with the Steam Deck?
Axe.
Except it's a Steam Deck. Yeah, no, for sure. So, here's an episode from the early days. The Black-Eyed Children. They've been spotted again. They're out again in these streets.
Don't like the Black-Eyed Kids. And I did at Halloween have a quick, sort of, not a premonition because it never happened, but a vision of children knocking door, and they just had black eyes, and they were like, I want to make a call. And I was like, take your Whoppa bar and fuck off.
Right, so gangs of black-eyed ghost children are terrorising
controlling
Brits.
most of the eastern seaboard.
They are in UK's most haunted woods.
Oh god.
So yeah, gangs of these children are terrorising walkers in Britain's most haunted woods. Hikers and dog walkers say that they're being visited by horrifying apparitions who tend to stalk the woodlands just as the sun goes down. These black-eyed children have been seen before in Cannock Chase in Staffordshire, one of Britain's most haunted hotspots, but paranormal experts fear they are getting braver, as they are now going as far as to physically touch locals to scare them. People in the area say they get a cold feeling swoop through their stomach, and the feeling of being watched just before the tiny terrors arrive.
These kids want to be careful because they'll touch the wrong lad one day and they'll be like, now I am the one who was afraid.
Now. Well, yeah, true. Although if they find a nonce out there, he'd be delighted himself.
This is what I mean.
Yeah.
They'd be like, haha, and he'd be like, oh.
Ghost hunter Lee Brickley explained, I have a few reports of these black-eyed ghost children. One man got in touch and he said he was walking through the woods, and all of a sudden he felt a weird sensation in his stomach. like a feeling of impending doom.
Bommy's really flapping, mate.
His dog started to go mad and was pulling on the lead and barking. He said he stopped to look around when he felt something tugging on the back of his coat. Fuck, this is a lot of it, right?
Yeah,
he said he jumped and turned around, and there was a pale-faced little girl with completely black eyes, which looked like she wasn't human.
Angooey.
Literally. Her clothes were in rags. She giggled, and he said he felt chills down his spine before she skipped off into the trees.
Fuck that now.
What makes this encounter particularly significant is the physical interaction. Most sightings of the black-eyed children describe visual and auditory experiences, but this is one of those rare cases where the entity physically touched someone. I believe the man's account to be genuine. His detailed description and the fear he still felt was palpable. The woods have a rich history of paranormal activity, including sightings of the black-eyed children that go back decades. I'm sure we probably talked about them in our original episode.
I think we definitely talked about Cannock Chase.
Yeah, I think so. Lee has worked to keep a tab on all of these goings on, and he has also a book called Ghost Hunter's Guide to Cannock Chase. So yeah, check that out if you're interested. So Eamon, I think since Monday's episode, which was about the disappearance of Kenny Veach, after we recorded that, so when I was editing that episode, well, I don't edit episodes, but when I was processing the episode, I was watching all the Kenny Veach stuff.
It's interesting, isn't it?
So I did a bit of Kenny Veach research, so I suppose we'll talk a little bit about that.
Talk about Veach.
Avicii. Yeah, I watched a guy, I don't have his name to hand. Oh, is it going to come to me head? Yeah, something Chigger, I think. Chigger CH, by the way. But that's his YouTube channel. A Chigger is an insect. So it's something to do with that. And basically his channel is he goes out into rivers and stuff. Maybe his channel isn't about chiggers. I don't know what it's about. But
we just move on from that bit.
It's something like that. But he basically made a whole YouTube series following Kenny Veach's steps.
Yeah, was he the fella who he found a very shallow M-shaped cave?
Well, he found lots of stuff. Like he has like 1.2 million subs, this dude.
Right.
And like his
that
whole
could have been you, Veach.
Yeah, and his whole thing is his whole channel is like he dives in rivers for fucking shit, gold and fucking pirate artifacts and stuff like that. Them lads do be at. Right. He's plundering for doubloons.
Yeah.
But he basically took it upon himself, which is quite nice actually, because I don't think he's from that area. He took it upon himself to go and do a few different walkabouts of where Kenny Veach went, and he even in one of the videos he lined up Kenny Veach's video with his, and he's showing you in real time. He's like right on his phone, like he's filming his phone. He's like, "There's Kenny Veach's. This is where he was standing here, and this is that." You can
see it there, yeah.
And his conclusion after doing that was that there was no M-shaped cave like Kenny was talking about, and his conclusion, I believe, was that it was a figment of Kenny's imagination.
So, yeah, could have been. Like again,
but like he was super into it.
Yeah,
but
it's just that the size of the place. Like the desert is the size of Ireland. So
no, but it was this trail that he was on. Like so in Kenny Veach's video, he goes like, the M-shaped cave is down this path.
But Kenny couldn't find it when he went the second time.
Yeah,
so
but
he reckons that's what it was, that he just maybe was a bit dehydrated or something and had a bit of a weird experience.
Well, he was saying it was there, but like your man couldn't find it anywhere on that whole trail. Like, and he spent days and days and days. Like,
unless the reason that it was vibrating is it's one of those things
like
that
a mirage.
Well, no, like it just sort of appears in our universe and then disappears afterwards.
We're going there,
like,
are we?
Yeah, it's a while. If you can't do it on this podcast, when can you do it? So it could be that's why it was vibrating at a certain frequency that managed to appear in our universe, and then Kenny Veach was there at the right place, right time. Okay. It wasn't that it was a interdimensional laser that the government were working on, and so it can never be found again because it's gone back to its own.
Yeah, of course.
You know.
Yeah, so
I can't think of a better explanation.
But he wasn't the only one to go out and check out, basically.
No.
Now, this guy, what he was saying that he thought was really strange was like, he was like, the weird thing is, where Kenny is saying this M-shaped cave is, he was like, it's less than a day hike from the car park, but Kenny was going around the long way to get to that spot, but he was like, it's actually way quicker to go straight from the car. Like, Kenny was basically taking the long way around every time to get to it. Now, your man went around both ways, checked everything. Like, literally, he has so many videos where he's just like, right, over here is where Kenny went missing. It was this trail, it was this path.
That's where like the phone was left.
But yeah, but he's like, today we're going to go this way and we're just going to see if possibly there's somewhere. Now look, that's not to say, you know, like Kenny's not there. It's just to say that there was no sign of an M-shaped cave. But he did find bones and stuff, but he was like, I don't think they're human. Like, he was showing them on camera. They didn't look human.
Yeah, well, look, there probably is lots of
animals,
bones around there in the desert. Yeah.
I think I'd say Kenny probably. I'd say he probably went for a last hurrah and kind of just dropped his phone where he dropped it on purpose, because he was like,
he didn't want to be tracked.
Well, that, and he probably in his head was probably like, this is the point of where I'm just going to YOLO it and just go as far as I can out, and I'm just going to do the deed. Like, I'm going to try and get out as far and as rural and remote as I can. And in his mental state, that could have meant hiking for fucking 2 days straight or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, he could have just went like hell for leather.
Yeah, it's hard to know. Like, just ultimately, and the fact that he didn't bring the camera is kind of somewhat telling, because to find the cave, like, you know, and it's all about that initial comment about this vibrating M-shaped cave. Without that,
but that's still really interesting.
Super interesting. Yeah,
I think the only other kind of cynical thing I could maybe say is that perhaps he was wanting to try and get into like taking people on tours out there for like paranormal Area 51-y stuff almost.
Yeah,
like,
I think he was trying to do that.
Like, he's trying like, I'll take us out to this cave, like, and like it'll be his thing. Which again, look, there's nothing wrong with that. He's not hurting anybody by doing that. But I'm wondering a little bit, was there a little bit of like an entrepreneurial thing there where he was like,
there was certainly, we can see by the other videos, the entrepreneurial sort of nature of him when he's trying to get on Shark Tank and all that. I think I saw something when I was doing the notes about he was trying to start some sort of like excursion camp or whatever. So yeah, you're totally right. It's a good story. Try to get a group of people go looking for the M-shaped cave. Similar to almost like going on a ghost hunt in a castle. Where you wait, you know, the likelihood is nothing happens, but
you're still taking people out and people are having a good time.
Exactly. Like, I've gone dolphin watching before where we never saw any dolphins. Still paid full price.
I think, like, look, that is a more of a cynical kind of standpoint, and I don't know the guy well enough to know if that was something that he would have done or not done. But
I don't think
there's any harm even if he was doing that.
No.
It's just,
I got the impression again from, and again, you haven't talked to any of these people, so the first thing is that we can't know one way or the other. We've never met them. We're not going to. But he seemed fairly legit, and he seemed like a nice person, and judging by what his girlfriend said about him, you know, it seemed like it was as she said. But yeah, to your point, we can't know for sure. So
no,
you know,
there's a lot of good stuff out there though for people that are interested in like doing a little bit of watching and research and kind of thinking. And look, even I don't advocate people doing it stupidly, but if you're out in that area, it's supposed to be pretty good for hiking. We're probably coming into hiking season, maybe over there, maybe a bit further on into spring or something. I don't know, but so that's that. We've mentioned on the pod that we've been watching From.
You finished the 3rd season.
We won't do spoilers, but just we're both up to speed on From. We watched the season finale there today, both of us, I think it was. Did you watch it today?
I watched it last night, but yeah.
What time does it come on at night then? Over here? Was
it might...
Because I think it airs on a Sunday.
It airs, but it might be a stream thing, so it might get released at midnight on a Sunday.
Okay.
I think
you might be right. Wrong, that makes sense. So yeah, basically, you know, we mentioned it before, really good show though if people want to check it out, and it's consistently really good, and I can say that now was like, especially with the finale of this season, that like it's going on a really good trajectory, I think.
Yeah. It's as we were chatting about it before we started recording, but it's just the pacing is very solid. The characters are like, it's not, some people, you know, you watch a TV show and it's like, it's shot beautifully. It's art. This is just a really solid story.
Bit of mystery,
a lot of mystery and intrigue, and the pacing is just very good. It just keeps you going. I like the lore, and I guess that kind of like you and me were chatting about what could it be and what's this. I love and what's that.
Yeah. I love being able to sink my teeth into it, like theories on the show and speculation.
I think as well, the world, what they've done really well is they've created this very small place. And they've steeped it in this wonderful lore, and they can present, and they've done a very clever thing in that they can present things to you that make no sense, but in this area, everything kind of makes sense in its own way.
Yeah, it's great. It's actually great like show, it's really good, and it's been renewed for another season, so that's good news. In a time when every fucking show gets cancelled, it's definitely got another season, so that's fantastic. It's
funny as well because it must. Because, you know, you see like these big, and it's a good kind of like the way they're saying AAA games are dying. Like the video game industry can't afford to make them anymore. But AA games, that might be the way forward. And right now it's getting very hard to tell the difference between a AA and a AAA game because the graphics are what they are. But this looks like a show that maybe the budget is a lot less, so they don't need to get, you know, as much viewership. Because I was told about From by my sister. I told you about From, and we're the only people I know watching From. Do you know?
Yeah, I don't know anyone else is watching it, but
your buddies will love it.
Yeah,
because they all like that kind of spooky horror stuff. So I think if you like this podcast, and you want lads not to be talking about Mickeys or whatever, and just solving horrific mysteries, then it's for you.
Yeah, I think most of our listeners would enjoy it.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they didn't.
Yeah, I think
it's like if Lost was more of a gothic horror type thing.
It's like kind of like Lost meets Midnight Mass.
Yeah. Lost meets Midnight Mass.
It's like a bit like that.
It's even, I mean, there's even elements of zombie lore because of the nature of
a little bit of Walking Dead thrown in there.
There's like
like all of those shows kind of blended up into one to kind
but
of.
It's more. I watched the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon stuff when he's in France, and it's a fine show.
He's in France.
He's in France. Yeah. He managed to get out to France. He's having the right crack. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
Fucking France.
In France,
What the fuck?
2 seasons in France. Carol manages to get out to him in the second season.
Does he?
Gets on a plane.
Carl.
Gets on a plane from America to a little Cessna from America to France.
For fuck's sake.
Some laugh.
Why is that? Well, I suppose if that's still going, anything can really be on TV still. Like,
yeah, but it's like. We'd watch that because Powell is a big fan of The Walking Dead, so she likes to watch all the off shots, and that's grand. Like they're grand, they're good, you know. But like From is a much better product in my opinion. Just as a piece of storytelling, as a piece of entertainment, it's very. I don't know. It's what you don't know that really makes it interesting.
Is it a thing then nowadays? It must be where like. Yeah, low budget TV shows are a thing because like I didn't know that there's a Daryl Dixon TV show. Like I've heard nothing about that.
And I don't know how that doesn't look low budget at all.
And I've heard nothing about it. Like I don't know anything like
comparatively like if you look at From, there's not really ever any giant big set pieces in From. There's some little bit of CGI here and there, but it's generally, that's what I like about it as well. It's kind of almost like a 1950s Twilight Zone. You could do it with that kind of technology to a certain level. Daryl Dixon is like the fucking the special effects and the set pieces that they show you. That's one thing I do like about the show. They give you a 5-minute like, this is how we made this episode after it.
Right.
But when you see all the logistics, like, and they're booking out, like they booked out the Louvre.
Right.
So just to book out the Louvre to shoot a zombie show must have cost an insane amount of money.
That's crazy. Does anyone, like, people write in if you're watching all that shit? Because like, I've never, like, I'm surprised I don't know that there's a Daryl Dixon TV show.
I wouldn't have, except they released Daryl Dixon, 2 seasons of that. They released Rick and Michonne in the TV show. They have kids and all. They had their own show. Negan and Your One.
They have a show?
Yeah.
What the hell?
And there's Daryl Dixon. There are 4 offshots. I watched them all.
There was that other one as well, Fear the Walking Dead, wasn't it?
That was like another
offshot. That's a separate offshot. But
there's a different. Yeah, these are the offshots of the original guys.
There's an offshot of an offshot.
It's like this is just a different group of people
doing the same thing.
Do you remember the guy? I can't remember what. It's one of the early episodes, The Walking Dead, and Rick meets a guy in an apartment.
Vaguely.
Yeah, I think the off shot is him and the people he's with before he gets killed in the main part of The Walking Dead. But yeah, look, it's a license to print money by the looks of things. People seem to love that show.
But I wonder though, is it just a thing now where they have the art of making like a kind of mid-budget TV show in the pocket, like where it's like, yeah, well, like we know enough people watch this bullshit. But it's probably, that is probably mid-budget compared to like Game of Thrones, like. Do you know?
Well, I suppose that, yeah, you'd wonder. I would be very curious to know how much it costs to book the Louvre. Because like you would imagine that would, like, if you've like, that's never empty.
No,
there's constantly tourists there. It's a nighttime shot where like a woman basically looks at her husband getting eaten from behind the Louvre. She's locked in. She's a cleaner. Spoilers, she becomes like the governor of.
Wait, is there no zombies in France then, or what?
Oh, there is, yeah. Oh, there's zombies everywhere. Right. And they do. Now, one thing I will say, they do some cool zombie designs. So there's one where like
zombies with baguettes and fucking
they have like little berets, and, you know,
fucking little stripy jumpers and shit.
But they do a cool like earth zombie, very elemental looking. So it's almost like a bogman. Yeah, because they've died and there's been there's a part where the plane stops before it gets to France, and the zombies have nothing to eat, so they're just lying down in the grass, and the grass grows into them and all. Right. So when they actually find someone, then they look pretty gnarly. And there's another one that have bioluminescent plants in them, and they kind of light up in the middle of the night. A little bit, but it's good. Like it's good. It's just not as good. From is just stronger story wise.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go on to Penguin next.
Penguin's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, I think I'm going to that.
I watched the first 4 episodes of that, and Penguin's a good example. Penguin's like a really expensive show to make. It's like Colin Farrell's in it, blah blah blah. So when you look at that, you do see the quality is higher than From, but arguably From is more enjoyable. Yeah, and it's all down. It's subjective. It's now, to be fair, the writing in Penguin is it's brilliant. It is brilliant, but it's like. Do you know what? The best way to equate it to is like a video game. Yeah. You can play a lower budget video game and really enjoy what you're playing. You can play a AAA game and really enjoy that as well, but your heart might belong to the AA game. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think, and look, everyone knows that about movies, cult movies and all the rest of it.
I get you. So, moral of the story, go and check out From.
Watch From.
It's very good.
Watch it.
And give us your theories and all, especially if you're in the Discord. Let us know what you think the crack is. I've read some really good theories about it. I was that into it after watching this last episode, where I was like, fuck, I'd almost do like a watch along podcast for this show. I was like, but then like I'd have to go back to season 1.
But it probably wouldn't be a bad thing, because with everything you know now, you could like have a spoiler.
Yeah. No, I was tempted.
I will say, like,
I was like, ooh, that's good.
I did you peg who it was going to be before you saw them when they were in the membrane? Yeah, same. I said it's Paola. She was like, "What the?" She was just she's like, "What even is this?" Like, and I was like, "I think it's." And she's like, and then sure enough, like but the membrane looked so gross.
Yeah, it was real good.
It was horrible.
Brilliant show. Yeah. Look, so we'll leave it there, folks. Thank you for listening, and remember, Spotify Wrapped. Tag us, let us know your crack. Thanks to all our patrons for the support. I've been Rob.
Amen.
Mini Fuzz, over and out.
Thank you.